Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. Here to do a reading. The readings so far this month have been pretty interesting. I did do a reading for the whole year, 2023, and I did a reading for the month of January up here, and the full moon reading was pretty interesting too, but it's my mom in the background. So when I did the split on the Mystical Shaman, we got the Blade and we got the Medicine Wheel. So this is really interesting because this speaks to like this truth, this sort of like undeniable truth, like, and it's in alignment with the full moon. So it's almost like the full moon sort of exposed something. I'm going to link to the full moon reading here. In that reading, it was sort of like there was like a lot of kerfuffle going on in the environment, so it's best to just sort of keep your nose to the grindstone and sort of stay off the grid. That was sort of the message that came through, but something sort of came to light during the full moon, and when I pull it down, we got many paths. So it's almost like whatever this, it's like a moment of truth where like it's almost like what I just got from this many paths is like two people who had been previous to this like moving on the same path are like irreparably going to like go on different destinies. And like one, yeah, like this is just sort of like evolving in real time. And like the sort of example in the environment that like has been coming to me is like this whole drama that's starting to unfold with like Prince Harry, and this like generational curse, and like I did a couple readings about that. Like there's one called Legend of the Sword, and then there's one right not that long after that, the next reading after that, which I think is called God Save the King. So those might be relevant to this reading. But you know, his book came out, so like all these things that like came out, like all these truths came out, and there's this whole like kerfuffle that's like sort of downstream of that. So that's a thing. But ultimately, all this is sort of like a healing. Like this is the medicine wheel. So the medicine wheel is all about like coming into alignment with your true north. So it's really we're requiring that you sort of do this assessment of like what it is that you're trying to achieve in your life, and everything that's like you're kind of doing this assessment, or the people, the situations, the things that are not in alignment with that, like you're gonna have to let go of them in order to make room for this movement, you know. And so that process is like the medicine wheel. So like for example, in this situation of, yeah, it's gonna lead to this transformative moment, the second chance, redemption, like a fresh start on life, and like a new community. So like for example, in the case of Harry, it's just like he's not destined for the throne, you know. He's just kind of been living this life, but like not able, he's not in line for the throne, you know. But then like all the, you know, institution of royalty is sort of like blocking him from like sort of achieving his own dreams. So like it's like he's kind of putting his truth out there about that, and it is causing this rift, you know. But like ultimately at the end of the day, like he's not destined to be king, and he's just trying to do what's best for himself. And like lots of people have opinions about it, but you know, at the end of the day, like he's just trying to make his own way in the world, you know, which it's not a bad thing, you know. Okay, so when I did the Sacred Forest Oracle, and we got, this is so crazy, we got Wizard of the Woods, Focus, and we got Storm Spirit, Chaos. So, I mean, this really echoes the message that came through for the full moon reading, which was sort of like, it was called Woodshedding. I think I might have linked it already, but maybe I'll link it here. And it was all about like, there's all this kerfuffle going on. So like, really, it's like, stay focused on your thing, you know, like, use this moment to develop yourself, and don't sort of get lost in all the chaos. Like, stay focused on your own thing. So it's like kind of best to sort of stay off the grid, because all of this stuff is being illuminated, and it's almost like you know, there's like a lot of drama that happens when you like let go of things that don't no longer serve you. But like, you just have to remember like what your true north is, and like keep moving towards that. Like, the rest is gonna like fall away if you like keep moving forward, you know. So like, I think that's really an important message. Like, we just need to keep moving forward, because the rest of it is it's ultimately gonna fall away. Okay, I'm gonna go to the angels and ancestors and see if we get a message from our ancestors. I mean, this really does speak to like some pretty significant drama here. Okay, so when I did the split, this is really interesting. So we got Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. So this is like a creator, you know, this is someone that creates abundance from the, you know, the resources of the earth. But then what's interesting is that we got with it the trader. Exchange energy to create abundance. This artwork, it like kind of reminds me of like the Silk Roads, you know, and like how like there's this thing on Netflix, it's Marco Polo, and it was like he was like, you know, one of the first traders on the Silk Roads, and like when they started establishing trade between Europe and Asia, and like it's like this person has like created something. And so it's almost like part of this wood shedding process is like figuring out how to like monetize it, because there's people who are gonna like appreciate what it is that they're creating, you know, and that's what needs to be focused on. This really is really interesting, the Silk Roads. I actually, my grandfather in Japan owned a silk factory. I have to answer this. Okay, so that was a call I had to answer. So I'm gonna go to the tarots, and I'm gonna go with the light deck and the dark deck, and we'll kind of look at both sides of that equation. And then yeah, I'm Elisa, remember? Okay, yeah, it's really interesting. We got the trader, we got the Silk Roads thing, and it's really interesting too, because, you know, like the reading that I did, well, I feel like the January and the full moon one was like all about like there was going to be this work opportunity that was going to help overcome like whatever was going on. And so it's interesting that this trader comes out. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Crown of Wands. So the Crown of Wands is like a powerful, like a business person. You know, this is like somebody who like makes things happen, you know, like this is a, you know, like a, what do you call it? Like a shaker, something, a mover and a shaker. This is a mover and a shaker at the bottom of the deck. And then we have the Justice, which this came out in the same position and with the same deck, either in the full moon reading or the January reading. I don't remember, but it's interesting because we have that and we have this, and both of these are like right under this full moon, you know. So it's like, yeah, like I feel like this full moon is bringing in some kind of justice, which is gonna like cause some situation to just totally flip on its head. And it's going to open the door for a passionate, fiery new beginning. And it looks like there's somebody coming in with some kind of mover and shaker is coming in. Oh, right underneath that we have the 10 of Coins with some kind of, I don't know, maybe bringing some kind of opportunity that's really going to shake things up. So we got that going on. Then we're going to go to the intuitive night goddess. We're going to look at what's going on in this sort of shadow realm at the same time. But yeah, I mean, it's a really strong message that it's just kind of like, you know, you're going to have to move towards your true north. And sometimes that shakeup can be messy, you know, but like everyone's got to do it. And yeah, like that's what Prince Harry's doing. So, you know, he's kind of like leading the way. Okay. Wow. Okay. So at the bottom, we have the Queen of Cups. So this is someone who's operating like they're from balanced emotion. You know, they're moving through the world from like leading with their heart, you know. And then we have right underneath this is so interesting, right underneath the Justice, we have the Magician. So we're manifesting justice. And this is going to allow us to put down some sort of burden that's been holding us back. Situation's going to flip on its head. And then we have the Six of Cups. So this speaks to kind of like, you know, like a soulmate connection. You know, there's some sort of connection here that's maybe going to help someone to like move forward in this inspired, passionate way. So very interesting. It's almost like these two things are happening at once. It's like the medicine wheel. Like, it's like I was talking about, like, it's like these things are going to fall away as you move forward, you know, and that's just naturally going to happen. So it's like you need to face your true north and you need to move forward. So that's kind of what this row is about, you know. But then as we do that, things are going to fall away, you know, which is kind of what that, and it's like these are happening at the same time. So it's just like there's all this chaos because this is like a big, big shift. When I picked up chaos, we have growth, you know, so like it's a huge, huge shift. Like this speaks to like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, in the new year, it's like the first week of the year, we're sort of like, you know, recovering from the holidays. But then it's like we've already contemplated kind of like what we want to bring forward into the new year. And so it's like starting in the second week, that's when the massive changes start breaking through. And that's kind of what this is speaking to. And it definitely is coming through strong in this reading. So I'm going to go to the Rose Tarot and pick a final. And we'll see where we're at with that. And then we'll, yeah, call it a day. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we got the Sun, joy, enjoyment, life force, success, vitality, play. And we got the Crowning, intuition, thresholds, birth, rebirth, a seat at the table. This came out in another reading. So, this is really, really good. It's just like, it's going to be really dramatic, but this breakthrough is going to lead to much better life than the one you're living right now. Like, but it's going to be like, you're going to really have to push through some like serious drama, it looks like. Yeah. But, you know, like, follow your true north and keep pushing forward. Like, don't focus on all this detritus, you know, like, just keep pushing forward. It's going to work out. That's kind of the message I'm getting. You know, stay in the woodshed. All right, we'll check in soon with more updates.